What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a repair and retie on my client. This was the second client I've ever installed microlocks on, and she hit 1 year in February, so shout out to her. So like I said, we're going to be doing a repair and retie. She's got some that are thinning in the back, and then we're going to add a few more on the loose hair that we see. And as you saw a little bit earlier, QVR is sponsoring this video. Thank you so much. They sent me one bundle of their 16-inch natural black Afro kinky bulk hair, and that's what I will be using to repair these microlocks today. But for the topic of discussion, we are going to be discussing retightening, rotations, and what's the difference. So we have the 2-point, the 3-point, and the 4-point. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about all three so you can get more of an insight on the different methods and why you should choose that method. So for starters, I'm going to start with the 2-point because that's the one that I have the most experience with, because that is what I do on my hair and to start off my client's hair. And the only difference between the rotations is how tight you want them to be. So a 2-point rotation is essentially the loosest rotation. So it gives the lock more chance to thicken up over time. And I like that because I want to be able to be a little bit versatile, because if you want them to be smaller, then you can just do a tighter rotation and it'll be more of an easier transition versus if you have them extremely small and you want them to be a little bit thicker. So the 2-point rotation is always what I opt for. Now the 3 and the 4, there's not much difference in between those two, but the 4-point, to be specific, is if you want smaller, tighter locks. So that leaves no wiggle room. That's going to be as tight as it possibly can. Like, your lock is going to be as tight as it possibly can. It will not thicken up. It will not have any give in it. Now, if you're going for a smaller lock look, like for sister locks or super duper tiny micro locks, then the 4-point rotation will probably be better for you because you already have small locks. But if you're trying to have a little bit of wiggle room in your locks, or you want them to be a little bit more full, then I would opt for a 2, possibly a 3. I haven't had much experience with 3. I've only had one client that wanted a 3-point rotation, and she had about 200 and something locks. So her locks were fuller, but they were also very small. So she wanted to do the 3-point, but we eventually switched to the 2-point because between the 2 and the 3, it wasn't much of a difference, just like from 3 and 4. It's not much of a difference. So those are the different types of rotations, and you can also play with it a little bit. Like, sometimes you might want to do a little bit tighter, or sometimes you might want to do a little bit looser. But one thing I do want to say, that whichever rotation you start with, it's important that you stick with that rotation, because eventually your locks could start to look different if you switch back and forth through rotations. So in the very beginning, you could play with it a little bit, but as quickly as possible, set your standard rotation so that way your locks could be uniform and you don't see any line of demarcations or any different types of transitions from switching from different rotations. And I wanted to add that the point rotation that you decide have absolutely nothing to do with the thickness of your hair or how much hair you have. It just matters when you want to look at the size of your actual locks. If you want a tighter lock, then you go for a 3 or a 4. And if you want maybe a looser or one that can thicken up over time, then I would suggest exploring with a 2-point rotation. And as you see, my client's hair is extremely thick, We still have not done a lock count, but I know she's like well in the 300s, probably even in the 400s, because she just has that much hair. And it's always a good time when we get together. And this is the end results. This is what 1 year of microlocks extensions look like. And it is longer, it's thriving, and it's beautiful. And once again, I want to thank QVR for sponsoring this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.